inequality 60 years late, and a massive drone attack on Russia. It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Thursday, December 11th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. If you haven't already, please take a moment, subscribe to our new channel on Telegram. If you got the Telegram app, just do a search for the 5 and 10 channel and follow us there. Also, please subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't done so. The address there at 5 in 10. If you would subscribe, share, click that bell for notifications, and of course, hit the like button and follow us on X. That would be at 5_in_10. Item number 5 today, Venezuela. Told you at the start of yesterday's program that the U.S. Coast Guard had seized an oil tanker. President Trump saying he's willing to do it again. Seize more oil tankers off the coast of Venezuela. This according to a White House official in an interview with CNBC on Thursday. U.S. seized that tanker that was allegedly transporting oil from Venezuela to Iran. It appeared that its next stop on its journey was to be Cuba. The tanker, described as a very large crude carrier, or VLCC, identified as the skipper, containing 1.1 million barrels of oil. The tanker will be taken to U.S. port, and that oil will be seized. It's important to remember that Venezuela is a founding member of OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and it has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than the UAE, larger than Russia or Iran. It is Venezuela. It would be nice if we could somehow wind up with a government in Venezuela that's a little friendlier to its northern neighbor. That would benefit both countries, I think. By the way, at least half the oil that was flowing illegally, or at least under U.S. sanction, from Venezuela was headed for China. Item number 4, Russia. An overnight drone assault on Russia by Ukraine. Particularly large, dozens of drones sent at Moscow. The Russian Defense Ministry said it shot down 287 drones across the country. That's one of the highest single-night totals recorded during the entire war. Among these 32 long-range kamikaze drones that were inbound on Moscow, those were reportedly intercepted. The disruption of airspace around Moscow was enough to delay about 200 flights briefly from 4 airports around the capital city. At least 40 more drones headed toward the broader Moscow region. Russian media is categorizing this as a desperation move by Ukraine at a time when President Volodymyr Zelensky is under pressure from President Trump to reach some kind of a peace deal, even if it means giving up territory, which Zelensky says he just will not do. But Ukraine's forces are in retreat on the battlefield, as President Trump told President Zelensky during that famous meeting, or infamous meeting at the Oval Office last year, earlier this year, rather. You don't hold any cards. Item number 3 today, Senator Crockett. I'm talking about Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat from Texas. If you're familiar with her at all, the idea of seeing Jasmine Crockett in the United States Senate might appear to be a bit far-fetched. Well, according to a report from Notice, which is a new online news site, the National Republican Senatorial Committee was actively working behind the scenes to encourage Representative Crockett to jump into the Senate Democratic primary in Texas, which she officially did on Monday of this week. Senator John Cornyn is the incumbent. He's a Republican, and he's facing a tough 3-way battle in the primary. Democrats putting up potentially 2 strong candidates, not counting Representative Crockett. So Republican strategists were concerned that they might actually lose a Republican Senate seat in Texas. Well, if there's a tough, the strongest of the candidates Republicans will be putting up is the Attorney General there, Ken Paxton. And if that turns out to be kind of a nasty primary fight, then the winner of the primary, whether it's Cornyn, Paxton, or somebody else, could be damaged goods in the eyes of the voters before the real campaign begins against the Democratic nominee. Well, back in July, the National Republican Senate Committee commissioned a private poll by design that included Representative Crockett's name among the leading Democratic contenders. And to everyone's surprise, Crockett came out as the leading candidate among likely Democratic voters. So GOP operatives saw an opportunity and moved fast. They said, okay, we got to disseminate this far and wide. This is according to the report and notice. Following the NRSC's poll, other surveys from other news outlets began to include Crockett, and they showed similar results. They showed that she was showing surprising strength in the primary among potential primary candidates. So the NRSC then to help put the bait out there, amplified the polls, making sure that these got to the hands of news outlets that published the results. Hey, look at this. Representative Crockett is showing she could be a surprise candidate for the Democrats. And so she jumped in. Quote, the more I saw the poll results, I couldn't ignore the trends that were clear, she said. She basically said the reason she's jumping in the race is because of the strong poll showings. Representative Crockett, God bless her, appears to be a bit of a narcissist. And so putting this bait out there was something she just could not ignore. This was the political equivalent of leaving bait out in plain sight, and she just grabbed it up. Well, why would Republicans do this? Again, it looks like their candidate for Senator Cornyn's seat, whether it's Cornyn, Ken Paxton, or somebody else, may be, damaged by the tough primary fight. So Republicans want to make sure the Democrats have the weakest possible candidate up there as their nominee. Jasmine Crockett is a candidate who really motivates the Democratic base, but right now the Democratic base is so far left it's off screen. But she will not win over independents. She is a very abrasive figure who turns off independent voters. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you got to have the voters in the middle to win the election. So that's what's going on. Republicans are not done even shoring her up at this point. They're actively looking for other ways to keep her momentum going long enough to get the Democratic nomination. So they're having quiet talks with other conservative-aligned groups about launching independent campaigns that appear to be progressive on paper, but are actually funded by conservatives. Crockett, meanwhile, is out there framing her campaign as destiny, powered by the people. And she's right. It's just that those people are Republican strategists in Washington, D.C. Item number 2, equality. Back in 1971, the Supreme Court case Griggs versus Duke Power banned IQ tests for jobs on the basis they were racist. This ruined hiring practices because you can no longer put out those tests and tests for, cognitive ability when hiring. The only credentials you could use basically were getting college degrees, and that's not really a reliable way of testing whether somebody is up to the job. Grade inflation, 60% of all grades handed out at Harvard last year were A's. At Harvard. So this is the way things have been since 1971. It's been the standard for the last 50 years, but that is now changing. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced on Wednesday, quote, this Department of Justice is eliminating the regulations that for too long required recipients of federal funding to make decisions based on race. End quote. Chief of Staff and Supervisory Official for the Office of Legal Policy, Nicholas Schilling, said, quote, for over 50 years, the prior disparate impact rule fostered the very thing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibited, discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin. But with today's rule, the department reaffirms Congress's commitment to measure all Americans by merit, end quote. Of course, going back to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, finally, after more than 60 years, we're finally arriving at the place Congress wanted us to get to, but we've been prevented from getting to because of that 1971 Supreme Court ruling, judging by the content of our character instead of the color of our skin. Speaking of racism, coming up, Jingle Bells is racist. I will explain why next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that Skywatch TV is a viewer-supported ministry, and right now when you order the new book, Thomas Horn, The Early Years, which features both complete original works, The Gods Who Walk Among Us, and Spiritual Warfare, The Invisible Invasion from the skywatchtvstore.com, we're going to send it to you as our gift for your donation of only $25 or more, which includes free shipping to all U.S. addresses. But right now, and just in time for the holidays, you have an opportunity to upgrade your gift to include the entire Dr. Thomas Horn Definitive Skywatch TV collection that features the complete anthology of all of his greatest television series on 8 DVDs. That's 96 episodes, including the very first pilot of Skywatch TV ever, and has a running time of 45 hours. But this special upgrade also includes Dr. Thomas Horn's Rome and the Star God DVD that reveals the Faustian deal with the devil that has been made between the Vatican and our, quote, alien brothers as the world awaits the arrival of who they refer to as the Star God. Also included in this special upgrade are both volumes of the Skywatch TV Classics audio series on MP3 audio CD. This incredible, nearly 30-hour collection features 6 of Dr. Thomas Horn's all-time, most listened to audio series ever, including Something Transhuman This Way Comes, The Coming Replacement Humans, As It Was in the Days of Noah, Conspiracy Theory Special Edition, The Coming Zombie Apocalypse, and Psychotronic Warfare. All of these amazing original works sold separately hold a retail value of nearly $300. Yours now for your donation of only $69.99 or more, which again includes free shipping to all U.S. addresses. Once again, your support helps Skywatch TV continue reaching the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the book Thomas Horn, The Early Years, and or Thomas Horn, The Early Years with Special Upgrade Legacy Collection right now.
Item number 1 today. Jingle Bells is racist, because why not? This was shared by fired MSNBC host Joy Reid. She shared it on her Instagram account to her 1.3 million followers. A post claiming that the beloved Christmas anthem Jingle Bells is, in fact, racist, was written to make fun of black people. This is based on an academic paper published a few years ago. A young man shot this video and then summarized the paper. The bottom line is it claims that the author, the composer of the piece, James Lord Pierpont, whose nephew, by the way, became J.P. Morgan, James Pierpont Morgan, you know, the banking guy. James Lord Pierpont wrote the song around 1850, and apparently he was hard up for money when he wrote the song in 1850. But according to the academic who wrote the paper, it was written expressly for its use in performances in which white actors put on blackface to mock black and make characters of black people trying to participate in winter activities, end quote. Doesn't matter that there's nothing in the lyrics that would indicate such a thing. The fact that it was written at a time and in a place where that type of entertainment was popular means it must have been. Now, look, as a hobby for more than 4 decades, off and on, I've sung with the Barbershop Harmony Society, quartets, choruses, and there are a lot of songs that were very popular amongst the Barbershop Harmony Society, which then was called the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America, that were very popular until the 50s and 60s because they were written in the late 19th century, early 20th century, and the lyrics were overtly racist. And those songs either had to be dumped altogether or the lyrics changed at the very least. There's nothing in Jingle Bells that suggests that. But this is the state of academia in America today. You get more funding if you can come up with something new that proves to be racist. Because the purpose of academia today is to divide and destroy, Western civilization. This week on Skywatch TV, we're talking about Tom Horn and some of his early works, The Gods Who Walk Among Us, Spiritual Warfare, The Invisible Invasion, two of his earliest books that have been out of print for years. And you'll hear from the family, Joe Horn, Donna Howell, Nita Horn, talking about Tom and his early ministry and how these books were just way ahead of their time, which they absolutely were. Don't miss the program. You can watch it right now at skywatchtv.com. All of our video content is always there, of course. You can watch it right now over the air, our broadcast schedule at skywatchtv.com/channels. Now, we will broadcast on your schedule. All you have to do is add the Skywatch TV channel to your smart TV or set-top box, Google TV, Android TV, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV. Go to the App Store for your device or smart TV, add the Skywatch TV channel, and then we'll be there when you click the remote. Of course, we're on the internet, youtube.com/@skywatchtelevision. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, rumble.com/skywatchtv, or download the free mobile app to your smartphone or tablet. And that's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets. And we've got links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. 5 and 10 online again. Telegram, find the 5 and 10 channel there, and please subscribe. YouTube.com/@5 and 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and of course, X @5_in_10. And thank you for watching. As we keep watch, I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.